Hello guys, welcome to the lecture series of Computer Organization and Advanced Microprocessors. This is our 20th lecture and these days we are learning data representation techniques, and we have already seen the fixed point numbers method, and today we are going to start a new lectures for the floating point number. So this lecture contains all the basic and important points about the floating point numbers representation. So let's start. Okay, so when we are working with the floating point numbers, first we need to understand what's the meaning of the floating point number, right? Floating point numbers are nothing but the number which has integer part as well as the fractional part, right? Any number with the point, we call them the floating point numbers, right? And when computer stores the number, it always stores the sign with it, because we know that when we are storing the number to the system, we must mention the sign. If I write 20, then it's fine because I know that 20 is a positive number. But when I am feeding the data inside the system as the numbers, I must add the sign bit, right? So whenever computer stores any number, we must always need the sign. So floating point numbers has this 4 to 3 points basics. Now we'll see different parts of the floating point numbers, or some different terminology which we are going to use during the sums. So let's see what are the different terminology, what are the different things which we are going to use in the during the sums. Okay, so let's start with the first term, that is the MSB and the LSB. MSB stands for most significant bit and LSB stands for the least significant bit. Here I have taken one example of the 53. In this we are going to see that why we call them the most significant and why some bits are the least significant. So as you can see, I have highlighted the 0 with the MSB, that is my MSB, and 1 with the yellow, that is my LSB. So here in this slide you can see the difference for MSB and LSB by the color as well. So okay, 53 is my decimal number with the base 10, and I have converted that number into the binary, and for binary the base is 2. So what happens, the leftmost bit, that is my 0, is the most significant, that we know. But why? Because if you flip the leftmost bit from 0 to 1, what you will get? You will get this, right? You will get 0 1 0 0 0 1 0 1, and that is nothing but the 181. So you can see the difference between 53 and 181. So you are getting the higher number, more higher number, right? It is not that closer to the 53. It means the leftmost bit has the most significance when you are converting them, or when you're converting them to the decimal, because it changes your number with the highest significance. And about the LSB, so the rightmost bit, that is our 1, and is the least significant. Why? Because if you flip the rightmost bit, which is 1, from 1 to 0, what you will get? You will get this number, right? You will get 0011 and 0100, and that is nothing but my 52. So 53 is very closer to the 52, right? 53 is very closer to the 52. It means that this my right side bit has a least significance on the number, and that is the reason that why we call them MSB and the LSB. Hence the most significant bit and the least significant bit. Okay, so our next term is a radix point. You must have heard this radix point in the previous video. Remember R's complement and R minus 1's complement? We used to call that R as a radix, right? So what is radix? Let's understand the radix. Radix is nothing but the point from which you are separating your numbers. Left side portion is the sign integer, and the right side part we call it a fractional number. So as you can see in the image, here we have taken 22.625. This is my decimal number. So when we are talking about the decimal number, this dot is we call the decimal point, right? We call it decimal point or the floating point. But when we are working with the binary numbers, remember this, when we are working with the binary numbers, and in the binary numbers, if we have integer part as well as the fractional part, we call that dot radix point. This has another significance. We will see that in the next slide. So this is called the radix point. Also, few things you can find in this image. See, word length. What is word length? Word length means a total number of bits you have in your number. So here we have total 8 bits. So this is my 8 bit. And how and what integer part? Integer part contains only 5 bits. So here we have the 5 bits. So suppose it is asked to you that if suppose some number is given to you and it is asked that write this number in this format, then how will you write? 8 means my total length and 5 is my integer part. Let's take one example. Suppose it is given that let's say 6 and 2. Suppose it is given, right? And you have the number 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. Suppose this is the number and it is asked that write this number in this format, 6 to format. How will we write? We will write 6 means total length, right? 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. And 2 is nothing but the integer length. It means I need to put the radix point over here. That is 10.1010, right? So also we call the data type for the fixed point. This is the format. So it is all about the radix point. Okay, now next term is a sign extension. So what is sign extension? Let's understand the concept. What happens when you store any number in the register or in the memory, wherever? So always number gets stored with along with the sign bit, because we are working with the sign numbers, right? So when you store any number in the register or in any other memory location, suppose your number has n bits. Suppose your number has n bits. In that case, the total word length would be n plus 1, because this n is a total number bits of numbers and 1 is the sign bit. Then sign extension rule. What is the sign extension rule? Sign extension rule says that fill remaining empty bits with the MSB. What does it mean? See, here you should keep in mind that whatever the MSB you will have, it will be always your sign bit. This MSB will be your sign bit. So fill remaining empty bits. Where in which type of cases you need to fill the empty spaces? So let's see the table. Here we have one table. Let's understand this table. See what what do we want to do? Here we have two numbers. One is okay. One is the -9 and second is the 12. Okay, we have already stored this number in a 6-bit register. We have already stored. So here we have written the register numbers. Register 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 6th location will store the MSB, that is the most significant bit, and that will store the sign bit, right? Okay, so when you store any number inside the system, then bits are divided into two sections. First section contains the magnitude bits and the second contains the sign bit. What is the magnitude bits? Magnitude bits means the actual binary number of the binary of the number. So here we have 9, right? Okay, so what would be the binary for the 9 for the 5 locations? It will be okay, it will be 0, wait guys, okay, it will be 0, 1, 0, 0 and 1, right? So this is the binary for the 9, but because this is negative, so my MSB will contain 1 only, right? And the similar way we have another number, that is the 12. We have 12, right? Okay, so now for the 12, the binary number would be 0, 1, 1, 0 and 0, right? Okay, but this 12 is a plus, that is a positive number, so my sign would be 0. So where you are storing the any number, binary number inside the n bits register, always make sure that the MSB will contain your sign bit. So this is about the 6-bit register. But what if I want to store the same number inside the 8-bit register? It is just like that you have a 32-bit system and you want to upgrade it with the 64, right? Suppose suppose you have one computer and this is another computer. This is a 32-bit computer and this is the 64-bit computer. Now what happens, whatever the data you have stored, suppose you have stored here in suppose whatever the data you have stored, but when you will store in the 64, here you have a bigger capacity, right? So what you will do with the empty fields? So this is called the extension rule. This is for the sign extension. So what we do, when you store, when you copy 6-bit numbers inside the 8 bits register, in that case we use the sign extension rule. In the sign extension rule says fill remaining empty bits with the MSB. Okay, so what is your MSB? What is your MSB? Your MSB for the -9 it is 1 and for the 12 it is 0. So simply fill all the rest of the field, empty fields with the MSB, that is with the sign bit. So here we have 0 0 and here we have 1 1. So this is about the sign extension. Okay, now let's understand the floating point number and its different parts. Okay, so see, here we have one number, that is 0 minus, it is a minus 0.35790 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 6. Why we have written this number in this format, that we will see in this video only. But right now just understand that when we are talking about the floating point number representation, your number should be in this format, that is 0.35790 multiplied by 10 raised to 6, 10 raised to minus 6. Always you need a radix point or the decimal point at this location. Means before the decimal point or the radix point, you always have only one digit, at the left side, and this is called the scientific notation. So let's understand some different parts. So sign of the mantissa. First, let's understand the mantissa. What is mantissa? Mantissa is a part after the decimal point. Means my mantissa is over here. My mantissa is 35790 is my mantissa, right? Okay, it's easy, right? Okay, then we have location of the decimal point. Okay, fine, we know this dot is called the decimal point because we are working with the decimal number. Suppose it is, suppose it would be suppose it is binary number. In that case we call it radix point. And sign of mantissa, means my mantissa is 35790 and the sign of this mantissa is the negative, that is my minus sign. Come to the right side, that is the after the cross. So here we have 10. 10 is the base. So from the base I can come to know that this number is in which format, right? So this is the decimal base. This 6 is nothing but the exponent and this minus is the sign of the exponent, right? Why we need to write the base, that also we will see in this lecture only. So this is about the how floating point number looks like and how floating point, standard floating point numbers comes with the different parts. So mantissa we know, and from this slide we have learned about the mantissa and how to write the any floating point number. Okay, as I told you that radix point has its own significance, right? So change in exponent value with the shifting of radix point. What is this? When you write any number, and when you change or shift the radix point, what happens with the number? So let's see. So here we have an example. In this example we have taken the number 180,000 dot. So say this number is nothing but the 1,80,000. This is my number. So when you write the this red color shows the radix point or the decimal point. See, we have taken the example with the decimal number, right? But we are learning the radix point. Okay. So suppose you when you write this, When you write this 0 over here, my 1,80,000 remains the same. But what happens? The same number, if you shift this radix point left side, one left side, you need to write this number in this form. It means multiply by 10 raised to 5. If we suppose you are shifting, we are shifting left side, right? So when you are shifting over here, you need to mention 2 raised to 2 this way. 80. See, it is changing the value as well, right? It is changing because first it was 1,80,000. Now in the first step it becomes only 18,000, right? 18,000. Now it becomes 1,800. Then it became 180. So it is changing the value as well. Then 18, then 10 raised to 4. 1.8 we can write with the 10 raised to 5. See, it is not changing the overall value, and so the value should not get changed. We need to mention base with the power. So my number remains the same. So at the end I can say that if I have a number 1,80,000, and if I am using the decimal point or the radix point in the number, I must write 1.8 along with the cross 10 raised to 5. So both are similar, right? So how you can see that how change in the exponent value with the shift of the radix point. So the decimal point was moved 5 places to the left and the exponent is 5. So how many places you are shifting your radix point or the decimal point, accordingly we change the power. Okay, now this in this way we saw the how to shift the left side. Now see the what happens when you shift the radix point to the right side or a decimal point to the right side. Okay, see, I have the number that is 0.0004. Here we have the okay. So here we have the number that is 0.00004. Okay, what happens? Suppose you are shifting this radix point this side, right side we have shifted. We have shifted only one location. But when you shift the radix point or the decimal point right side, you need to mention the negative power, right? It is going to be the negative power or a negative exponent. So suppose you are shifting 2 point, so it becomes -2, and likewise for rest of all. So at the end you can see that 0.00004 is equals to 4 multiplied by 10 raised to -5, right? So the decimal point was moved 5 places to the right and exponent becomes the -5. So here you can also notice one thing which we discussed in the last slide, that this is the standard format to write any floating point number when we are working with the computer system, right? So this is about the how your exponent gets changed with the shifting of the radix point. Okay, so as we know that, so now we know about the Mantissa, also we know about the floating point and all. So now, and also we know that what is the standard format? Standard format is always write the number in the format of the scientific notation, right? So here we have, see, here we have mentioned our original number, right? Our original number. This number should be always in the format of this. That is m multiplied by r e. What is this? This n is nothing but my original number, right? This n is nothing but the original number. This m is nothing but the Mantissa. Now we know what is Mantissa, right? Okay, r is nothing but the base. We always need to mention the base so we can know that it's a decimal number or the binary number. And this e is nothing but the exponent. Now let's see some examples. See, suppose it is given to you this. We will talk about this. This we will talk. 32 multiplied by 10 raised to 7. See, it might be possible that instead of see this, instead of the 10 raised to 7 cross 10, you may get cross 107. So in that case you have to understand this 10 is nothing but the base and the last bit is nothing but last digit is nothing but the your power, right? So here we have 32 multiplied by 10 raised to 7 power, and that is the reason that I have highlighted this 7 and 6 in the red color. Okay, so from this number we need to identify the different parts. So what is 32? As we know, that's 32 in this C. This, okay, this M, right? So this is nothing but the mantissa. So I got the 32 as my mantissa. Then 10 is the base and 7 is the exponent. So just extract the information from the given value. Okay, then we have second number. Let's say the second number, 111 multiplied by 2 raised to 6. So 111 is my mantissa, 2 is the base and 6 is the exponent, right? Okay, now see this 22.11. Nothing has been mentioned over here, means it is not in the actual format which we need. Which format we need? We always need this, right? Your number should be in this format, that is m multiplied by r raised to e. But this number is not in that format. See this number is not in that format. 22 multiplied by, sorry, 22.111. So first I need to convert this 22.11 in this format, that is standard note or a scientific notation. And after that, what will I will get? I'll get 0.2211, that becomes my mantissa, then 10 becomes my base and 2 will become the power, right? And the same with the next value, that is the next number, that is 7652.123. So first you need to convert this number with the standard format or the scientific notation, and after that we will get 0.76522123, and with the base 10 and the power 4 is the power, right? So now we know, right? You know that how you get the 2 and the 4 power, because when you are shifting the decimal point you can get the different power. Because see, in this you have shifted your dot 2 points, right? You can see over here, left side 2, and in this you have shifted your dot 4 numbers or a 4 locations or a 4 points, and so we got the 4 as an exponent. So it's about the standard format and different and how to get the any number in the scientific notation format. So this is your floating point number system. Okay, so after learning about the different terminology which we are going to use when we will work with the floating point number systems, so we know about the mantissa, then also we know about the radix point, how to shift radix point, and what are the changes we get in the number. So many things we know, and what is the standard scientific notation when we are working with the floating point number. But what or how to store that number inside the system. So to store any floating point number inside the system, we have a general format, right? So always divide your number in three portions: sign, exponent and mantissa. This is the standard format. That first, in the first section it will store the sign, in the second section it will store the exponent, and the last section it will store the mantissa, and after that it will work on that number. Okay, so in this lectures we are going to learn about the single precision floating point number format, that is the 32 bit. So for the 32 bit we call it a single precision. If it's a 64 bit we call it a double precision, and if it's a 16 bit we call it a half precision, right? So how to store single precision or 32 bit floating point number inside the system. How many total bits I have? I have total 32 bits. From the 32 bit, use 1 bit for the sign, means your 1 bit will be the sign bit, 1 bit only. In exponent you can store in a 8 bits, means my this section has a 8 locations or 8 bits, and rest of 23 bits, in rest of 23 bits I'll store my mantissa. right? So this is the this is the general format. This is the general format. In general format, you can see sine, then exponent, and then we have the mantissa part. And because we are going to learn only about the 32 bits, that is the single precision floating point number, so here we have divided this 32 bit in 1, 8 and 23. So 1 is for the sine, 8 is for the exponent, and 23 is for the mantissa. Now let's see, suppose you have, suppose you this we have already seen, this 32, right? How you can divide your total 32 bits. So 1 is for your sine bit, in 8 bits you can store your 6 exponent, and in 23 you can store your mantissa. So always remember 32 bits, for the 32 bit single precision floating point number, the format is 1 plus 8 plus 23. 1 plus 8 plus 23. This is the standard format for the 32. 1 plus 8 plus 23. But suppose you have 64 bits, that is a double precision number. In that case, the ratio says 1 plus 11 plus 52. Means one bit is for the sine, 11 bit is for the exponent, and 52 bits for the mantissa, right? And suppose it is 8 bit. Suppose it's a 8 bit. In that case, the ratio is 1 plus 3 plus 4, right? 1 plus 3 plus 4. This 1 bit is for the sine, this 3 bits for the exponent, and 4 bits is for the mantissa, right? It's easy. In next lecture we will start learning, we will start discussing, and we will do the sums based on the 30 for the single precision 32 bits floating point number system. So it was all about the basic rules, regulations, and the concepts about the floating point number. Okay, so we have seen some basic concepts about the floating point numbers, some terminology we have seen, and all this terminology, all these concepts we are going to use in our next topic. So happy learning. Thank you.